Recorded Books presents a Southern Voices production. Secret Keepers by Mindy Friddle. This unabridged recording is narrated by Cynthia Darlow. This book is copyrighted 2009 by Mindy Friddle. This recording is copyrighted 2010 by Recorded Books, producer and publisher of Southern Voices, celebrating the rich heritage and distinct characteristics of Southern writers. This novel opens with a quote from Catherine Mansfield. "How hard it is to escape from places. However carefully one goes, they hold you. You leave little bits of yourself fluttering on the fences, little rags and shreds of your very life." And now, Secret Keepers.
Part 1. Amaranth. Noun. Number 1. Any of various annuals of the genus Amaranthus, having dense green or reddish clusters of tiny flowers and including several weeds, ornamentals, and food plants, also called pigweed. Number 2. An imaginary flower that never fades. Chapter 1. The town had moved the Confederate monument from the square to the gates of Springforth Cemetery some 20 years after the War of Northern Aggression, and General Robert E. Lee, who stood atop the mossy marble with a scowl, had never quite recovered. The general was listing, slowly sinking in the boggy soil, his finger pointing no longer at the ghostly Union Brigade ahead, but just down and to the left toward the new Ideal Laundry Factory, as if to demand extra starch. The stony glare of the good general was the last thing Emma Hanley's grandfather saw as he sat at his mahogany desk in his office, pondering a lost factory, foreclosure by some outfit up north was imminent, and an astonishing sweep of bad investments. As he swallowed the muzzle of a Colt .45, William McCann peered at the general, who seemed to look back at him approvingly, a kinship that comes from being beaten down by Yankees. William McCann's self-inflicted gunshot on that brilliant spring day in 1908 made a mess of things. But then he never did have a head for business. In those days, a man was born with his fortune, and occasionally he increased it, but he never lost it. And McCann, who'd never quite cottoned to the textile industry, had managed to lose everything, as his widow Josephine quickly discovered. The tree-lined estate in town went first, the family's seasonal residences next, the seaside place in Charleston, the summer bungalow in the Blue Ridge Mountains, everything inside them auctioned off, crated, and shipped, down to the pickle forks and finger bowls. How could they? They could. They did. The wealthy in Palmetto had little sympathy for downfall brought about by a gentleman's folly. Travel lust, for example. Seduced by the lure of far-flung jungles, perilous crags, and shimmering deserts, McCann had, for some time, been obsessed by exotic botanicals. He fancied himself a plant hunter, ignoring his failing business and leaving behind his wife, Josephine, for months at a time, appeasing her with promises of civilized travel fit for a woman upon his return. A pity, many in the town noted, that shortly before her husband's unfortunate firearm accident, for that is what the family thereafter referred to it as, an accident, a man simply cleaning his gun, Josephine McCann had already sent a steamer trunk to Paris in preparation for a season with her daughter Angeline on the continent. That voyage was cancelled, the trunk recalled. Without means, the McCann women found themselves stuck in Palmetto, South Carolina. The financial snarl untangled, the fortune unspooled, and the McCann women's property shrank to a dot on the map to a single address, Amaranth, a staid Victorian at the edge of town, built on a whim a decade previously, on land McCann had purchased purely for its rich, well-drained soil, fierce fecundity, and eastern light. At Amaranth, the widow Josephine insisted decorum remain. Linen napkins, yellowed as old teeth, were used at all meals.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?